don't know if you can see behind me, but a lot of people waiting for their turn to take pictures with the Olympic rings, and there's a long queue here, which was already here when we first got here at 6 in the morning. So despite all the controversies, and even though people are rather fed up about all these scandals, I think it's fair to say that some people are getting excited that the games are finally underway. And I felt that exact excitement 8 years ago when my hometown won the right to host these games. So I put together this report about this conflicting emotions that I've had. Take a look.
A global sporting spectacle in the middle of the worst public health crisis in a century. The Games are going ahead, but they've already been described as the weirdest Olympics ever. Given fears a global gathering of about 90,000 athletes, officials and volunteers could become a cauldron of COVID variants, strict measures are in place aimed at stopping a potential super spreader event. Most of the athletes are vaccinated, but they'll still have to test daily and stay in a bubble within the Olympic Village. Socialising and group meals are banned. Win or lose, athletes must leave Japan within 48 hours after their last event. Japan wanted this Olympics to mark a turning point for humanity, a light at the end of the tunnel for a world stumbling through a second year of the pandemic. But those ambitions have crumbled. Tokyo is under a state of emergency through the entire Games. Thousands of athletes are set to compete in empty stadiums with no chance, no fans, no families to offer support. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga's political fortunes are closely tied to a successful Games, which were supposed to symbolise Japan's recovery from the 2011 earthquake, tsunami and nuclear disaster. But athletes and officials have had to brave a cascade of calamities just to get to the opening ceremony. And an uncertain legacy awaits the entire Olympic movement at the finish line of Tokyo 2020 and could mean a very different looking Games in Paris in 2024.
I'm at Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo, arguably my favourite place in the world. It's great to be back in Japan and reporting on the Olympics in my hometown of Tokyo. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it's far from the Olympic dreams that many of us had when Tokyo won the right to host the 2020 Summer Games. But the pandemic has changed all of this. And now, once again, Japan is facing a test of resilience and unity. It was supposed to mark the country's recovery from the devastating 2011 earthquake and tsunami. Similar to when the city hosted the Games in 1964, that was a powerful symbol of a new Japan rising from the ashes of World War II. My parents were in high school back then. They both remember the Games vividly. Mum's dad, my late grandfather, got tickets to see the event. I wish I could have asked him what it was like. Now, nearly 6 decades later, the Games are back. It's a very different Tokyo today from when my grandfather was here. Without overseas visitors and spectators, it'll be a subdued Games, that's for sure. And while there's unease about having the Games here now, in our hearts, my hometown will be rooting for the athletes and the Olympic spirit. And Rich, we keep comparing this event with the 1964 Summer Games that Tokyo also hosted. But one big difference is that when the opening ceremony takes place inside that stadium behind me, there'll be 2 flag bearers, 1 male, 1 female athletes for the gender balance, just like the BBC's 50-50 project. But Rui Hachimura, a basketball player, his father is from Benin. And I think it's fair to say that 60 years ago, it would have been unimaginable for a biracial athlete to be representing Japan. So slowly but gradually, we are seeing the changes that Japan is going through.
Mariko Oi there in Tokyo.